saying the select committee's membership failed to comply with the appointment rules. The committee's authorizing resolution provided that the Speaker shall appoint 13 members, 5 of whom shall be appointed, shall, not may. It's not Nancy Pelosi's opportunity to make a decision. 5 members shall be appointed after consultation with the minority leader at the time that was kept. We only had 2 Republicans on there, not 5. And those 2 were not picked by Kev, they were picked by Nancy. They were Kinzinger and Cheney. The select committee only had 9 members because Nancy refused to appoint the full 13, which means the entire thing was invalid. Additionally, H.R. 503 required vacancies on the select committee to be filled consistent with the procedures for selecting members, but she chose not to fill those vacancies, and she operated it with fewer members than was required. It needed 13, had 9. Now, the select committee also lacked a ranking minority member, inconsistent with its authorizing resolution. Instead, several months after it was constituted, the select committee then named Liz vice chair, whatever that means. The position of vice chair is fundamentally distinct. It's not a ranking minority member. It's not in the rules. And so it articulated some actions that can only be taken by the chair, and how it must work in consultation with the ranking minority member. Congress passed all of this, and the select committee could have been granted unilateral authority to issue subpoenas without consulting the ranking member of the minority party. There was no minority party, so they couldn't appoint Liz the ranking member of the minority party. H.R. 503 required that the chairman consult with the ranking minority member before issuing subpoenas, and they never did that because there was no ranking minority. Section 56B of H.R. 503, the constituting document, stated that the deposition authority is governed by the procedures submitted by the chair on the rules for printing. Under the House rules, the chairman is required to consult with the ranking minority member. Okay, so functionally, the committee couldn't even function because it wasn't properly constituted. That's why it matters. The regulations explain that consultation with the ranking minority member shall include 3 days' notice. Ranking minority member, there wasn't one. Because they lacked a minority member, and the process of conducting a deposition required consulting that member, it was flawed in its composition and operations. It was also impossible, since they did not have a ranking minority member, to comply with the deposition regulations. Cheney's appointment as Republican vice chair did not cure this. Vice chair is common and well understood a title under the rules. And Congress stated that a member of the majority party shall be designated by the chair as vice chair. Now, the reason for this is if the chair is not present, then the vice chair shall preside. As a junior position. Now, Ben selected Liz, and he initially offered it to Raskin at first. It was a fellow Democrat. But Raskin declined so that Liz could be appointed. Like, we can't have 2 Democrats up here. So we'll just have a fake Democrat called Liz Cheney. Representative Cheney then fulfilled the traditional vice chair role, and she functioned as a member of the majority party. But she did not satisfy the requirement of being a minority member. It was so fake. I mean, this is a great filing, by the way. By virtue of being the first minority party member, they said that she was the minority party member, and the Democrats relied on House Resolution ranking minority members must be selected by the minority and not blocked by the majority, and there was no minority. So the DC bar should take this because this is unreasonable, and it's also impugning the lawyer's reputation. Mr. Pasatino, who represented Cassidy, did a great job, and she was backstabbing him at every turn. We ask that the DC bar investigate Cheney. This has had significant consequences for Mr. Pasatino. Now, in the context of the allegations stemming from his representation of Clavicle before the J6 committee, Pasatino sued Special Counsel Mueller and prosecutor Andrew Weissman because Weissman
what do you want?
made a defamatory
Glad I
post
could
about
help.
him where he said that Pasatino coached Cassidy to lie. Now they say, no, you're a duly licensed lawyer, you're a former prosecutor, former DOJ person, so that's not just mere opinion, and that case is moving forward. On September 26th, they denied Weissman's motion to dismiss, so that's moving forward. Andrew Weissman is probably over at Jen Psaki in their sweatpants, crying on each other's shoulders about the future of America. The relevant witness was former White House staffer Cassidy Hutchinson, Mr. Pasatino's client. She testified to the committee. I want to make this clear. Pasatino never told me to lie. And so Pasatino alleges that Weissman's posts deeply damaged his 30-year reputation, caused him to lose significant business and income. And prior to the allegations surrounding his representation of Clavicle, Pasatino had never been accused by a client or anyone else of any unethical or illegal behavior. Now, the district court in D.C. found that Weissman's defamatory statement was not subjective opinion, but was a statement portrayed as fact, and so he's in trouble too. And so Liz Cheney is rigging this testimony, which is unbecoming and unethical conduct for a lawyer to do. And so signed by Gene Hamilton. Shout out to Gene Hamilton, the executive director and general counsel for America First Legal. A delicious bar complaint on the filing. I'm sure that felt good. Congratulations on a nice document. And I really appreciate the inclusion of HR 503 and the explanation about how it functionally messes everything up. They have to consult before doing depots with the minority party before issuing subpoenas. With the minority party, there was no minority party. It was just Liz and Adam. That's why it was a disaster. Now, they know why they did this, because they had to flip Cassidy to make her a star witness because their charade was falling flat. Everybody could see it, and it was not working out for them. So Liz Cheney became the star of the January 6th proceedings, and the Democrats are now spreading her all over the place to apparently win some votes. But guys like Jon Stewart are having a tough time with this, and we know why. Because not that long ago, I can remember being in high school, many of you remember these times when the left was so viscerally angry with Bush and Cheney, and they were doing a lot of the same things they're doing with Trump, making these plays about Bush being murdered and all sorts of stuff, right? Dick Cheney, they made movies about him just like they're doing with Trump. All the same things. Now, they didn't prosecute Bush in 4 different cases and tried to kick him off the ballot and all those things, right? We're in a different environment, big time. But to see the Democrats totally invert themselves to become a party of anti-war, to a party of pro-war, to be a party of anti-Cheney, to be a party of pro-Cheney, to be a party of what they said was free speech with Dennis Kucinich and stuff. They were all freaked out about Bush's Patriot Act, rightfully so. And then now they're parties of censorship and anti-free speech, and the FBI can come in and eliminate your social media. It's all lunacy. But they all are so baked into Team Blue, into their cultish environment, that it doesn't really matter. As long as they get to go vote Democrat, they feel good, it satiates their identity crisis that they're experiencing as they're trying to figure out why they exist on this planet. They've got a nice group of people who will rally behind them. Jon Stewart sometimes thinks clearly and is asking this question that we've been asking. Liz Cheney, are you guys serious?
The Cheney thing. Do we really have to do that?
That's all you've got. I mean, who else is there? RFK Jr. is on Team Trump. Tulsi Gabbard's on Team Trump. A lot of people joining. Elon's on Team Trump. And the list goes on and on. So who from the middle is going and joining the left? Not many. It's basically both. And like a couple actors from The Office.
Look, it goes broader than that. Look, Bernie Sanders, Dick Cheney.
Okay, Bernie Sanders is a leftist. It has always been a leftist. So who cares?
Taylor Swift. No.
Yeah, it's not Taylor Swift. It's Dick Cheney, right?
Dick Cheney's on board?
Nah, you can't Dick Cheney or Taylor Swift. No.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
To Taylor Swift to get us to invade. No.
Yeah, but they're going to excuse it because they are trying to, I guess, win some independence over and make people think that Kamala is not a far-out leftist. She's just a regular person like everybody. And I don't know why anybody thinks Liz Cheney's going to be attracted to those independents they're trying to run over, unless they're interested in more money for more foreign wars, which maybe they are. And so maybe Liz Cheney is perfect for Kamala. They'll go get some more money for Ukraine and everyone else. All right, and so let's keep this train on the tracks, my friends. We're turning our attention over to Georgia. And this is an interesting one that we have. A very interesting report here on X from Kylie Jane Kramer telling us that there is some more Georgia election interference afoot. She's got her hands on what are allegedly some very interesting emails and text messages that have come from Brad Raffensperger himself. And he's working to raise funds for this organization called Elections Defense Fund and racing to get that money before November 1st, which is just around the corner. So what is happening here? Well, I went and I looked over at this organization called Election Defense Fund, and they definitely have a website, but not much information on it. You can see you can simply go to this website and donate. They say they're a 501c4 dedicated to protecting this year's election results. So
Light bless you.
And they're going to identify local election officials who are most likely to not certify or to otherwise attempt to interfere with the results. That's what they're going to do. And then they're going to, what is that? And then what are they going to do? Once they identify them, then what? Then they're going to educate the public to remind election officials of their duty to follow the law and the consequences of not doing so. Like, remember when Jocelyn was going to come to your home or something, whatever she was threatening? They're going to support lawsuits that seek to force election officials to uphold their duties and defend election officials who are harassed, targeted, or sued for doing their lawful duties. So it sounds like something Raffensperger would be behind. And Raffensperger is already part of some other organizations like this one. This is called Power the Polls. And you can see this is their advisory council. It says this is made up of prominent cultural, political, and advocacy leaders from across the political spectrum, united in their support for recruiting poll workers, one of the most effective, nonpartisan actions everyday Americans can take in support of our democracy. Yeah. And we love our poll workers, but we don't love our poll workers who are hired because Adam Kinzinger likes them. You know what I mean? Because he'll hire the poll workers that shred all the red ballots. Because that's the type of person he is. Now, Kerry Washington's also on this list. But look who else is here. Brad Raffensperger. So he'll show up on boards, certainly, and be a part of these organizations. The COO of Georgia, Office of the Georgia Secretary of State, is also on this list. You've got the Bulwark is on here, and many others. Civic Responsibility Project, this woman's an activist. Drum Major Institute, this is the director of Voters of Tomorrow. Florida Rights Restoration Coalition. So my guess is that they're focused on getting a certain type of individual out to vote, and they probably have a certain position that leans one way, but you can be the judge of that. But the claim here is that they are now raising money for another operation, Election Defense Fund. The election is right around the corner, and they're saying Raffensperger wants $5 million. Here's the report saying the Georgia Secretary of State is up to no good, gearing up to go after the state election board. And there have been a bunch of rulings. We've been covering these cases at length. Remember, there was a hand count that said you had to hand count the ballots. No. Now, the other thing about hand counting the votes. It was just hand counting the number of ballots. That's all. They said no. There were other restrictions and requirements about county observers and having monitors come to these different places. No, all denied. Basically, everything the state election board has attempted to pass to secure the terrible election system in Georgia has been reversed. So what they say now is that Raffensperger sent an email, and it came out in a private capacity that went to a listserv of trial lawyers all across Georgia, soliciting $5 million by November 1st to help fund his election defense fund. And they just explained what they do. Asking lawyers to donate or to contact him via his private Gmail account and his personal cell phone number. So apparently this is the email. He states that election deniers are going to be the subject of this. He also included a woman named Allison Myers. She works for the Secretary of State, but also has connections to Larry Hogan and Nikki Haley, other anti-Trumpers. So she says, when I dug into the Election Defense Fund, I was even more shocked to find that Ryan Germany is on the board of the organization that was created. He is listed as the secretary of the Election Defense Fund. The same Ryan Germany who's supposed to be overseeing the Fulton County election as the auditor. Remember that? And he was the one who was going to help facilitate the monitoring team. He was the same guy who was around in 2020. So all the dots are connected, right? Very close. Now, Raffensperger specifically targets the board members, Dr. Dan Johnson, Janelle King, and Rick Jeffries. Shout out to those three. As early voting's underway, he says we got to raise these funds. Question whether it's illegal or not. It's unethical. The election of 2024 is being set up. They're going to try to steal it again. Only they will have an additional $5 million to go after anybody in Georgia. Okay, so here is apparently the email. And I've not seen this reported anywhere else, but if you went on a listserv, I would imagine more people have it, depending on the size of the listserv. But here's what it says. Message from Brad Raffensperger. And if he's using in a private email, like his title here, I think that's totally inappropriate. As Georgia's Secretary of State, I have held both parties accountable to you, the voter, for 6 years, and now I'm asking for your help. Across the country, and including here in Georgia, election deniers and conspiracy theorists have taken their anger to new levels, employing a variety of tactics, including intimidation, legal challenges, and rule changes. In Georgia, they've threatened, harassed, and sued election officials, and as you know, most recently, the Georgia State Election Board was taken over by 3 individuals who have pledged to put partisanship over sworn duty. These members of the state board passed a measure that would empower local officials to refuse or delay certification of the county's election results, creating the potential for another disputed and contentious post-election period in November. A few weeks ago, they passed new additional rules, one rule that will require ballots to be hand-counted. And we've talked about many of these. Those have been reversed now. Now, we all know the results in Georgia are going to be close, one way or another. As Georgia's Secretary of State, I'm committed to a free, fair, fast election, must demand the laws followed, and the integrity of the election process and the results are maintained. Election Defense Fund was created to stand up for this. It's a 501c4 dedicated to protecting this year's election results and standing up against those who are Georgia. Just to be clear. So, there is technically like a certification event that happens, but nobody's certifying anything according to the common definition of the word certify, which we'd like to validate. It's, if there is fraud, Judge McBurney out of Georgia said, doesn't matter, you still have to certify it. So you're just stamping the results, that's all. EDF will identify local election officials who are most likely to not interfere or otherwise attempt to interfere with the results, educate the public to remind election officials of their duty to follow the law and the potential consequences of not doing it. So, support lawsuits that seek to force election officials to uphold their duties, and perhaps most importantly, they intend to launch a robust program to respond to combat disinformation and go directly to voters via digital ads. We can accept unlimited contributions. Contributions are confidential, not disclosed to the public. I've attached a contribution form that contains check and wire instructions. You can also make a contribution online. at electionsdefensefund.com. Now, I've copied Allison Myers on this email. Please feel free to reach out with any questions at this number or that email. This effort must be funded quickly. Our goal is to raise a minimum of $5 million before November 1st. I appreciate your timely consideration. Please feel free to call me anytime. Thank you. Brad Raffensperger and so-and-so.com at the phone number there. So, very, very interesting. Now, I am noticing we don't see any date or timestamps, so I'm wondering when this was sent. If this was, like, is he referencing these cases? Because a lot of those have been reversed, and he should know that. And I'm wondering who's the author of this, right? Did he write this? Did somebody else write this? Are they using his name? Does he know about it? If we're looking at it through a lens most favorable to Brad Raffensperger, is this legitimate? Well, hopefully he can respond to it and let us know. Here is a follow-up to this. So Kylie, the same person who drafted and got her hands on the documents, which were presumably sent or forwarded to her, said that he had responded to her yesterday, and he did. He says, well, the Secretary of State, she says, has been awfully quiet on X. He responded to her yesterday, and he did. I saw the post. He says, Raffensperger, do you have any comment on raising $5 million in a personal capacity for this? Anything you want to say about it? Do you want to respond to this? Is it true? Is it happening or not?
Talk to me!
So here's the latest from Raffensperger. Been asking ourselves the same. He said, today, as of 3:30, Georgia voters, we've got a bunch of ballots coming in, Georgia friends and everybody, get your ballots in, baby. I'm proud of our election directors for getting the job done. Georgia voters, we're doing a great job. He says, as of this morning, 21,000 overseas ballots have been requested. 19 of those will go, 19,000 will go to U.S. military personnel and overseas citizens. So again, I don't know how many of those 19,000 are military and how many of those 19,000 are overseas citizens. Right. So early absentee votes are coming in, and they're shattering all sorts of records in Georgia. Let's see if he replied to anything, because he definitely was replying to Kylie earlier. Says, right, so she wrote this yesterday. Says, how exactly is this 25% of the vote like you stated? I know you're up to something, it's going to come to light. She says, you belong in jail for subverting Georgia elections. And he responded, he says, it's not, Kylie, that was never stated. We'll be reporting 70 to 75% of the total early votes at 8 p.m. and then the election day votes will come in later in the evening. And then he said on Friday, we played the clip this morning on our member stream. He then said on Friday, will be the deadline for the Yule Cover ballots, so another 20,000 or so ballots that are coming in after the fact. So who knows what's going on over there in Georgia? Very interesting report. Is Brad Raffensperger operating behind the scenes to raise money? He hasn't confirmed or denied it, but certainly some interesting emails that are being spread around out there. And so we'll keep our eye on it as we do with the rest of Georgia's litigation. Thank you for subscribing and joining us as we do and get those ballots in. All right, my friends. Well, it's been a beautiful, beautiful day. Just joining us. Quick recap. We talked about Cassidy Hutchinson's handwriting and about how she did not author this letter. Two, Doris is here. Gopher, Big Guy, Dorian Stanley, and Scott. But I'm sure it's probably an interesting bunch of garbage in there. I mean, it's like a fairy tale. Now I'm having flashbacks to that trial. That was so long ago. But we covered the Proud Boys trial here. Remember that? Yeah, that's right. The federal agents embedded, listening to their privileged conversations. It's just gross. Our whole justice system is disgusting. Hey, Travel Agent Amy. Good to see you, Travel Agent Amy. Says, I hope to never find out, but I bet the, quote, Republican Harris plans to put on their cabinet is Cheney, probably. Yeah, and then they'll just go invade Iraq again. Hey, Sheila Pooh. Sheila, thanks for inviting so many people in on this lovely Tuesday. Sheila Pooh is bringing in Chef Noel, Monkey Phonics, Angela Shannon, Buster Ellis. We got Just Talabrat, Angela Davis, Sherry and Connolly, Annie Soroka, Ion Energy, and Rochelle O'Neill in the house, courtesy of Sheila Pooh. Thank you, Sheila. for the new members and for this comment. It says, anyone who enjoys the chat, learns from the channel, smash that like button. Thank you for that, Sheila. And everybody, thanks for getting that done. Voice, you got it done. Lenny Malley, thank you. Tina Sassy, done. Eric with a K, done. Thank you, Sheila. And thank you, Lenny, for the reminders on the like button. Kat Saunders gifted a membo. Thank you, Kat Saunders. Bringing in Stephanie Hull. Welcome aboard, Stephanie. And thank you, Kat, for being a membo and bringing new membos in. Sheila Poo, 10 more membos. Welcome, new friends. Tina F. Blackbird is coming in at 256 hertz. 256 gigawatts? Great Scott! 1.21 gigawatts. They're gonna need a bolt of lightning. What? A bolt of lightning. All right, anyways. We got Alan Lanham, Stephen Holloway, Ryan Hayes, Kernack, Kevin is here, Tammy Lee, Dustin Van Pelt, Aries Acres, Roxanne Graziano. Welcome in, Tina and everybody in the house. We got Linda Hunter, welcome. Happy birthday to me, Linda! Happy birthday and happy 1-year anniversary. Trump train, choo-choo, for Linda Hunter. Good to see you, Linda. Happy birthday, Linda. Hey, what a great day to celebrate. And what a beautiful...
Prepare for a story journey with Lord Walker Cho at the Storyteller's stage.
Thank you, Linda, for celebrating with us, for sharing that with us, and for being here with us for 12 months.
The story of the Lich King's dead knight is a true tragedy.
24 month, it's going to be your birthday again?
While Azarian's tale may not be the most tragic,
I can just feel it. Hey, Knox is
it is
here.
a tale that should be told.
Retaliation against McDonald's.
Azarian was raised on a farm.
Yeah, so
but his father taught him to be a soldier.
It says McDonald's now has Ebola or whatever. E. coli. Like, oh, Trump went to McDonald's, so now it's got E. coli.
Your gold is welcome here.
It's such
Farewell.
a joke. Nobody believes
Time is of the essence.
Hey, Glocky,
Remember the sun well.
Yeah, came out today.
Stay the course.
Supreme Court won't let the state election board do anything.
Relax.
The order is a major victory
See
for
ya
Democrats.
later.
Just breaking just minutes ago, an hour ago.